In a world where most people believe that there are limited resources and have a lack mentality, I am here to tell you that every single thing that you would ever require to have a full, fulfilled, and a thriving life is right inside of you and can easily be harnessed through the power of affirmations. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to use the power of affirmations to your advantage so that you can start attracting all of the good things that are definitely your birthright. Let's get right into it, shall we? Before we go into the video for today, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, now would be a very good time for you to hit the subscribe button and join this community, especially if leveling up is of importance to you. So just go right ahead and click the subscribe button and the notification bell just right beside it so you can get instantly notified whenever we upload a new video. So let's get right into the video for today, shall we? Now, the very first thing I would like to do is start by defining what positive affirmations are. In simple terms, I've put down here that positive affirmations are truth and self-motivational sentences that can be repeated to shift a person's thought pattern and reshape their mindsets. But there's something that I find that a lot of people make as mistakes when they are using positive affirmations. And it's simply, just because you open up your mouth to speak forth a few words repeatedly doesn't necessarily mean that it will come to pass or it will become your reality. There is a definite process for making affirmations effective and actually produce results. And it's definitely not just by you opening up your mouth to just confess a few sentences that are feel good or that are positive in quotes. The thing with affirmations is if you confess from now till tomorrow just something positive and you don't follow a setting or a due definite process, those words will just be like ordinary mere words. You want your affirmations to be backed up by substance. And how do you achieve this? This is what I'm about to address in today's video. I'm sure you have heard multiple times people talk about how they attract different things with the power of positive affirmations. And there is a process that you must follow if you truly want to make affirmations effective and productive in your life. And the very first step that you must, as a matter of necessity, this is a step that you must perform with devotion. Remember that this episode is all about giving substance to your positive affirmations so that they would produce results for you and they will not just end up being just mere words. The very first thing that you must do is you need to harness the power of your mind. I cannot do justice to this point without first going back to the scripture to see how the creator of all things created the things that he created. Now we hear, a lot of us have probably read the creation story, how God made this, how God made that, but there are certain underlying principles that can serve as the blueprint for anyone who is truly interested in creating something beautiful out of their lives. So let's take a look at the book of Genesis chapter 1 verse 1. Now in that verse 1 of this creation story, a lot of people actually miss something very significant and important in this whole creation equation. Genesis chapter 1 verse 1 says, "In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth." Now, I was listening to a message by Miles Monroe a couple of years ago, and this was actually what lit a light bulb in my mind. I'm like, okay, so this is how this thing works. Now, in that message, right, Dr. Miles Monroe expounded that the Hebrew word for create is called bara, which means to form something from nothing, to create something out of nothing. So when we read in Genesis chapter 1 verse 1, and it says that in the beginning God created the heaven and the earth, that creation process was not actually him making physical things, like tangible physical things. That creation process was happening in his mind. Yes, God has a mind because we are made in his image and in his likeness. And if you want to see God, if you want to know how God is, you need to just look at yourself. So God started the creation process in his mind. Remember, the Hebrew word for create is bara, which means to create something out of nothing. So what God pretty much did before he started saying, before you go down to the other verses where you start to see, and God said, let there be. And God said, let there be. Before God started saying, God already created in his mind. That's an important principle that a lot of people miss in this story of creation. In God's mind, he already saw every single thing that he wanted to be. He envisioned it. He saw the heavens. He saw the earth. How did he see it? He used the power of his mind. The truth of the matter is that we really cannot create anything as human beings, because everything that we would actually make out of our lives has already been created by God. Right? Let's put it that way. So as human beings, all we're doing is just making and bringing into reality and bringing into being that which God has already created for us. So God saw this whole thing in his mind. He saw how the heaven and the earth should be. He formed it in his mind, and then he proceeded to use the power of positive affirmations to make them be. And that's how, if you continue in the other parts of that creation story, you say, in the first day, God made this. In the second day, God made this. God said, let there be this. God said, let there be this. So he started using his words, his affirmations, to now bring into reality what he had already created in his mind. That is how you harness the power of your mind to ensure that you make your positive affirmations actually productive and fruitful. So it's very simple. As you are right now looking at me, and I'm sure you already have plans and dreams and aspirations for your life. If you don't have one, it's important that you now start to have a vision for your life. Start seeing what you want your life to be. Start creating it in your mind first. Start envisioning it. That's why it's important that that you're mindful of the things and the people that you're looking at. The easiest way to actually create a life that you want is look at someone who is already living the life that you want, and then start observing them. Start studying them. Start trying to emulate them and be like them. You can take things a step further. For example, I've said it so many times on this channel that I have a vision board. My vision board actually has a vision of maybe my next 5-10 years. Everything on my vision board, some of them have started to come to reality, but everything on my vision board actually came from my mind. It's the life that I desired for myself. And trust me, I wasn't thinking any small kind of life. The life was the grandest life possible, because I believe that my Father in heaven, God Almighty, who is the creator of all things, the monarch of this universe, he's more than capable to give me, or has already given me, the life of my dreams. So I'm not going to shortchange myself by dreaming small. So if you go on that vision board, I have the grandest, the biggest things ever that I want to achieve. And like I said, some of them have already started to come to fruition. They've already started to come to reality. But when I first started posting or pasting the things on the vision board, I didn't even know how I was going to achieve them. But in my mind, I had already finished achieving them. In my mind, I had already finished seeing them. I was determined that these things were going to become a reality. And the very first thing I had to do was start to use the power of my mind to start to acquire and to get them. Now, everything you ever see in the physical realm, just think about it. Look around you. Everything you see around you was created or started in somebody's mind first. Look at the aeroplane. Somebody sat down and thought that, yes, it will be possible for us to reduce the distance traveled, or the time for traveling from one place to another, if we created a faster means of transportation. And the person, first of all, sat down in his mind and created it and started to think, how would this thing work? How would this thing work? It started in his mind. And when he realized, oh, this is how it would work, he now came out and then now started to use the things that were already created by God to build or put the airplane together. Look at the TV in your house, the chair in your sitting room, the oven, the microwave that you use to warm up your food. Everything around you started from somebody's mind. It started from the mind. So once you understand that your environment was actually created by you, What you are and who you currently are was created by you, whether consciously or unconsciously. Now you are coming into this new knowledge or new information. It's now up to you to now say, okay, now I'm going to be intentional about the things that I have been creating with my mind. You can create lack with your mind. You can create abundance with your mind. Now that you've come into this new information, stop staying in ignorance and stop being so ignorant about things and start being intentional and purposeful about what you're using your mind to create for your own life. So the very first thing you must do is harness the power of your mind in the creation process. Start to create the kind of life that you want. There's this statement that my pastor always says, and it's a statement that has stuck with me for many years. Your imaginative power is your creative ability. If you can think it and hold on to your thinking, hold on to your imagination, I'm telling you, it's just a matter of time before it becomes your reality. The second step is just simply, you have to believe without a doubt that what you have formed in your mind will become your reality. This is why it's actually very, very important that you are mindful of the things that you are believing with your mind. When God made everything on the earth, He made everything, the universe, every single thing. Think about it. All of nature. He gave you such a beautiful body so that you can actually thrive on the earth. People are suffering. People are going through a lot. They're going through pain, sadness, hardship. Not because God didn't provide everything that we require, but because they're just simply ignorant and they're using their minds for the wrong things. So you need to be very careful what you're believing in your mind. Your mind, see your mind like a house. See your mind like an estate or a container of something, and see it as, tell yourself that you would rather occupy your mind with positive things, grand vision for your life. Every day when you wake up, see the grandest possible vision for the things you want to attain. For example, for me, I remember when I was growing up, I wrote a cookbook just a few years ago. But let me tell you something. That cookbook I already finished writing that cookbook when I was 17. How you might ask? When I was 17, was when I started to dream and aspire to be this woman who cooks, who would be known for her cooking skills, who would have a company, a food company where she does all of these beautiful things at 17. I remember when everyone would go out of the house and I'm the only one around, right? I would go on my mom's dining table, take on the head position of the table, and just imagine that there were other people on that table who were my team members or my staff members. And then I'll be telling them, oh, this is what we have to do. This is what we have to do. I imagine going on a tour for my cookbook at 17. I didn't write that cookbook until maybe about how many years later? 10 years later. But at 17, I had already written that cookbook. I had already decided how many copies of the cookbook I wanted to sell at the time. I had already imagined how this cookbook was going to be helpful at 17. But I didn't write that cookbook physically or make it a reality until I was 27. Think about it. It's actually it sounds like a wishy-washy game, but that's truly how the power of positive affirmations work. So it's very important that you're believing without a doubt that what you have said would be in your mind would actually become your reality, whether you like it or not. I put down here that if you don't master this step, no matter how many times you affirm any positive affirmation, nothing will manifest because you have not yet believed it. It also just reminds me of the principle of salvation. The Bible just clearly says that if you believe in your heart and you confess with your mouth, then you will be saved. The Bible didn't say if you confess with your mouth, then you believe in your heart, then you will be saved. No. Believe first, then confess, then you will be saved. That's a simple principle that a lot of people miss. So the believing is an important aspect of your life. Look around your life right now. The life you are living now is the life you have currently believed is the life that you actually deserve. Let me tell you something. People look at me now, they think, oh girl, This girl was probably from a rich background and all of that good stuff. Nope, no, darling. I lost my dad at the early age of 12, the tender age of 12. My mom was saddled with the responsibility of taking care of 7 people. We left what we used to call a big house to, I started sharing 1 bedroom with my siblings. We were 7 of us, 7 children plus my mom, 8 of us. That's how life dealt us a hard blow. And what was once beautiful and rosy turned into something very, I kept wondering, how was I going to do this? So I found myself in an environment that wasn't good enough. I knew that I deserved better. I knew that this was not where I was supposed to be. And thankfully, at a very early age, in my teen years, I am grateful to God that God brought me books, information that helped me just understand this simple law or principle of creation, and I was able to change or get out of that place that I was into the place that I currently am right now. So what you are right now, I tell you, directly, indirectly, consciously or unconsciously, is your own doing, and you can change. You can literally change the course of your life and everything about your life. If you don't like it, you can change it and make it exactly what it is that you want. But first, it starts with you harnessing the power of your mind and believing strongly that every single thing you desire for yourself would manifest into reality. Again, I would say, please and please be very mindful of the things that you think about with your mind or the things that you believe to be true, because those things would end up being your reality. So be very, very mindful of them, okay? The third step in ensuring that your positive affirmations are backed up with substance is for you to now speak forth that which you believe. This is where positive affirmations now comes into play. And then once you have mastered the first step and the second step, best believe with confident assurance that your positive affirmations are backed up with power and substance. Speak forth that which you believe. I'm going to read a portion of the scripture for you again. Hebrews chapter 11 verse 3. I'm reading it from the Passion Translation. It says, faith empowers us to see that the universe was created and beautifully coordinated by the power of God's words. Remember the story of creation. God said, let there be, and there was. Let there be, and there was. He started decreeing the things he already created in his mind. Let there be light, and there was light. Let there be this, and there was this. So it says here that faith empowers us to see that the universe was created and beautifully coordinated by the power of God's words. He spoke, and the invisible realm gave birth to all that is seen. Remember, I told you earlier that everything you see in the physical realm was actually a thought in somebody's mind. Then what did they do afterwards? They started saying it. Oh, I'm going to build an airplane. This is how I'm going to do it. I have this thing to build this airplane. This is how I'm going to do it. They started using their mouth to declare it. The TV, the AC. Think about it. Everything in your physical environment currently. Let me tell you something someone said to me. Someone said, have you ever thought about the people who live in the slums and the people who live in the suburbs? So the slums are where the poor people live and the suburbs are where the rich people live. Let me use Makoko and Ikoyi as an example. Now, Makoko is what it is. This is no shade to anyone. It's because clusters, people who have a poor mentality or a poverty mentality, clustered in Makoko. That's why the environment of Makoko is the way it is. Ikoyi, on the other hand, is a suburb in Lagos, Nigeria. And people who live in Ikoyi, the reason why Ikoyi is the way it is because people who live in Ikoyi are actually clusters of people who are rich in their minds. Maybe rich in their minds or rich in their money or rich in their pockets. So the environment that you find yourself in is as a result of somebody's mind, the doings of someone's mind. So wherever it is that you find yourself, if you put step 1 and step 2 to good use, you can actually be living in an environment, but you are not living there. So you can, for example, we used to live in a place called Akoka. Akoka I think it's in Yaba, close to University of Lagos. That's where we used to live. At some point, we lived in Onipan, somewhere in Onipan. Yeah, when my dad died, we kept moving from one place to another. And the places I found myself in were environments that were very tacky, very disgusting. Like you find buses, you will hear the honks of cars, you will hear very annoying environments that did not foster peace, your well-being, or allow you to thrive. But guess what? Because I got information early, even whilst I was living in that environment, in my mind, I was living in the bougiest, the bestest of places in the world. I saw myself traveling all around the world before I could even think of how would it be possible for me to travel. How would it be possible for me to get a visa? How on earth would I be able to do it? But guess what? Right there in that environment where I was using the power of my mind to see myself in South Africa, to see myself in Dubai, to see myself in Paris. I said I traveled to Dubai in my mind before I traveled there physically. I traveled to Dubai in 2007 in my mind. I eventually took my first trip to Dubai in 2014. Now I've been to Dubai 4 times. South Africa, I've been there 5 times or even 6 times. I've been to Paris. Where have I not been to? But when I was dreaming and thinking that I would go to these countries, I didn't know how on freaking earth it was going to be possible. But I believed it in my mind. Then I started to declare with my mouth. I started to declare with my mouth. Before you start declaring, you can take it a step further. Instead of just holding it in your mind, bring it out of your mind. Get a journal. Write it out. I am traveling to this place. I am doing this. I am achieving this. I am doing this. I'm getting this. I am building this. I'm becoming this. I am this. Write it out. Then every morning, take that thing you've written. I am this. I am this. I am this. Keep declaring and confessing it. Have what you call talking sessions every freaking day of your life. Stop wasting your time gossiping. Stop wasting your time doing things that don't bring you any value or productivity. Open your mouth. Spend time on your own by yourself and start using your mouth to affirm the things that you want. That's how you actually create the kind of life you want using the power of positive affirmations. I promise you something, when you speak confidently with strong belief, everything that you have, that you believe to be true, when you speak it out so confidently, I promise you that everything God has created has been designed. Everything in the earth, in the universe, has been designed to hear you. Listen to me again. When you speak confidently that which you believe strongly, everything in the universe has been designed to hear you and ensure that they deliver to you the things that you say. That's why, again, I say, be mindful of the things that you say. And something else that I must say at this point is, because God is a God of order, God is a God of process. There is a due process for things to happen or for things to start manifesting or happening. Just because you confess something today and it's not yet manifesting tomorrow or in 2 days or even 1 month, doesn't mean it's not working. There is a due process. Some people give up too easily. They give up too soon. It definitely takes some time. And the amount of time that it takes is also dependent on your strong, confident belief and how much you are standing on that thing which you believe and that thing which you're saying without wavering on it. So you also have to believe so much in the process. Don't go about changing your mind. Don't start confessing something today. Then tomorrow you change your confession just because you are not yet seeing it. Let me give you an analogy, right? When a woman is pregnant, most often than not, that woman is not even aware that she's pregnant until she starts to notice the symptoms. What does she do? She goes to the hospital and asks for a test. And the doctors test her. And the doctors say, oh, girl, you are pregnant. This woman never knew she was pregnant. Now she's aware that she's pregnant. My question to you is, does she immediately have a baby come into her hand now that she knows that she's pregnant? Is that what happens? No. That fetus in her stomach still needs some time. It still needs to undergo certain processes for it to become a full-blown baby. Sometimes she's the only one who knows. Maybe the people around her don't even know, or strangers don't even know, or maybe they know because she has told them, and then the strangers don't even know. But she's the only one who knows that she has a child. She's incubating a baby in her womb. That baby is there. That's the same thing that happens when you keep confessing. No one else knows what's going on. No one may be seeing any physical changes in 1 week. They may not see it in 2 weeks. But you might not even be seeing it yourself. but you keep speaking, you keep declaring it, you keep saying it, holding on strongly to step 1 and step 2, believing that the things you are saying with your mouth will be mightily made manifest through this your positive affirmations. My darlings, this is a principle of creation that if anybody, whether you are in a slum, whether you are in a suburb, the slums of Africa, you find yourself in a village, you find yourself wherever it is, where you think that you never have an advantage, where you think nothing good ever happens for the people who live there. If anyone, regardless of who you are, will put this principle of creation to work, it will produce outstandingly beautiful, glorious results for you. I'm a living testimony. I came from absolute nothing to everything that I am today, using this simple principle of creation. And I always say that if I can do it, you too can do it as well. So if you stick to this principle, I'm telling you for free, as sure and as certain as the sun rises in the morning and sets in the evening, I promise you it will work for you. And this is simply how you use or put the power of positive affirmations to good use and ensure that they are producing results for you. So from today, please, don't just be confessing something with your mouth. Somebody says, I'm strong, you say you're strong. Do you believe that you're strong? Do you believe that you're strong? Do you believe that you're beautiful? Do you really know that you know that you know? Once you know that you know that you know something, no matter what anyone tells you, no matter what anybody tells you, maybe someone says you are ugly, but you know that you know that you know that you know that you're beautiful. Whatever they're telling you, you don't even care. You don't even listen, like, hey, whatever. That's your opinion. I know that I'm beautiful. I know that I'm blessed. I know that I'm favored. I know that I'm graced because I believe it. It's become something that has become one with my spirit, my soul, and my body. So this wraps up the steps in creating whatever it is that you want to create with your life. The next thing I want to talk about is, what do you now do in between the time of your affirmation and manifestation? Remember, like I said, right? It's a process between when you start believing something with your mind, when you start professing it with your mouth, and then when it actually now starts becoming a reality. What are the things that you must do to ensure that you are not spoiling or jeopardizing this process? Let's talk about that right now. The very first thing I've put down here is you have to detach yourself from the outcome. Let me tell you, it is not your responsibility to figure out how what you desired is going to happen for you. It's not your job. Like I said before, everything that God has created in the universe is working for your good. It's working for you. God, who created you and made you and brought you to this earth, already knew the things that you required, and He has already set them in place. All He requires, He has done His part. All He requires from you is to do your part. And the part you must do is what? Believe, and then what? Confess. Be about what you are believing by confessing it. So detach yourself from the outcome and trust that the intelligence of the universe, the intelligence of the one who made the universe, depend on that intelligence. Depend on it. If you trust that God is the maker of this whole earth and everything that is in it, trust Him with your everything. Don't trust Him and then half of the time you're using your understanding. You're using your understanding to believe other things. Trust God in its entirety. Trust that the things that you are saying, the things that you are desiring, are actually things that will come to you when they would come to you. So detach yourself from the outcome. That is the very first thing that you must do. And while you're practicing this detachment, don't worry. Don't worry. Stop, don't have worry, don't be anxious. Just detach yourself and just look at this thing that you are doing from a detached standpoint and just observe and watch how everything will just start to align. I tell you, I'm living proof. I said sometimes I look back at my life, I'm wondering, how the hell did I get here? I have no clue. Things happen for me, I have no idea how they happen. Somebody picks up their phone, call me, Winifred, we want you for a job. I remember the day I traveled to South Africa to shoot a campaign for Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola was not even on my radar. Like I dream big and dream high. They were not even on my radar for brands that I wanted to work with that year. But guess what? Just one email. Winifred, a client has requested your services to come through the campaign for Coca-Cola. You'll be traveling to South Africa. Coca-Cola flew me to South Africa to shoot this campaign. Flew me business class. Like, it felt like, I'm not even kidding you. I was like, okay, so this is how these things happen. But before that time, prior to that time, I already knew that I wanted a fresh experience of something. And the universe heard me. I believed it. I kept saying it. The universe heard me and brought me that Coca-Cola job. And from that job alone, I was able to meet, apart from the monies that I made, I was able to meet a lot of people on the job. So you need to detach yourself from the outcome. And the second point that I've put down here is you have to have special talking sessions. During the time that you are waiting for things to become manifest, you need to keep saying it and don't stop talking it. Set out specific times during the day to continue your affirmations, to continue to affirm strongly that which you have desired. Don't affirm it under your breath. Guys, don't affirm it under your breath. You need to speak it out. When I'm speaking, hey God, sometimes I actually wish I could record my life in my bedroom when I'm doing the things that I do. When I'm speaking, I say sometimes I believe that I disturb the neighbors, the people around me. I don't even care. Because when I'm speaking out the words, I say everybody must hear me. The sun, the moon, the stars, the everything, the air, even the devils around, the angels, especially the angels, because I want them to hear and know that I'm serious about what I want so they can go and quickly make it happen. So you need to have special times of talking sessions where you are affirming these things that you believe. I told you can write it down, write them out in form of goals. And when you're writing your goals, use the I am to always start the statement. I am beautiful. I am bold. I'm traveling to 5 countries this year. I am doing this. Just use that I am to start the sentence. That also has power in itself. So have different times of talking. In the morning, before you start the day, talk. In the afternoon, if you get some time, talk. In the evening, talk. Before you sleep at night, please open your mouth and talk. Talk. My pastor would always say, your mouth wasn't given to you to eat ice cream and drink Coke. It was given to you to chart the course of your life. So you've got to use your mouth to chart the course of your life. Okay? Please. Okay? Thank you. The third point that I put down here is if you believe in speaking in tongues, I advise that you take time during the day to just speak in tongues. Speak in tongues. What speaking in tongues does is that it builds you up on your highest level of faith that even you, without even making an effort, you start to believe, you continue to believe that thing that you say would happen. So it builds up your faith to the highest level. And something else that speaking in tongues speaking in tongues is like a mysterious language. Speaking in tongues is sometimes our minds cannot really comprehend or cannot really fathom how everything is going to work out or align itself. But when you hold on to your desire strongly in your mind and you're using your mouth to speak in other tongues, speaking in tongues helps everything just keep aligning itself, ensures that everything is just working out itself and aligning itself perfectly so that there's no stories that touch. Because trust me, as much as you desire a successful life, devil and his cohorts of darkness, they also desire that you will fail. Even forget the devil. The system of this world was designed in such a way that you should not prosper. The system of this world was designed in such a way that you should not be successful. So you need to be smart, and go higher and use speaking in tongues to your advantage. Speak it every day. Speak it everywhere. Shout it in the morning. In the afternoon, if you're at the office, maybe do it under your breath so nobody hears you. When you're driving, speak in tongues. Speak in tongues. Speak in tongues. Something I do personally is every day during my prayer session, I speak in tongues for 1 hour. I just keep speaking in tongues. That's all I do. I don't use any word. I don't use any physical language. I speak in tongues. So if you're a Christian and you believe so much in the power of speaking in tongues, I advise that you definitely start speaking in tongues. And if you don't know how to speak in tongues and you would love to start speaking in tongues, please leave me a comment in the comment section down below and I will definitely be super glad to show you exactly how you do it so that you take charge of your life, okay? Next point that I've put down here is you need to start acting like someone who is expectant of something. That's being that person who is expectant. If your neighbor, for example, calls you in the morning and says, oh, Winnie, by 1 p.m. I'm going to send you a lot of food. Please, I'm going to send my girl to bring you a lot of food. What do? You go into the fridge and you make space for where the food will be, or you go to your pantry and make space for where that food will be. Or maybe someone calls you and says, oh, Winnie, I'm coming to visit you tomorrow. You start preparing for the guests. So you know what you are desiring. Start making preparations. Open that bank account if you want, if it's more money you want. If it's more money you want, open that bank account. If you want to start a new business, my darling, go and start researching on the different businesses you want to do. Start researching on the materials you want to buy for the business. Start researching and find out how much you need for the business. If you want a husband, start working on being a wife. Start working on being a good wife. Start finding out what it means to be a good wife for the good husband that you're looking for. So that when this good husband comes, he will come. I'm telling you, he will come. As long as you're doing the first 3 steps I told you, he will come. So when he comes, would he find you worthy as a good wife? So you need to start preparing for the things that you are expecting. It's super duper important. Prepare your mind, prepare your environment, prepare everything. Just prepare everything. Ask yourself, what do I need to prepare so that when this thing that I desire comes, it will find a good resting place with me? Start preparing that thing, okay? And the final point that I've put down here, and this one for me is actually the most important, and this also shows the level of faith that you have about the things that you are expecting or the things that you're believing. It's simply start giving thanks. Something you can do is prepare a Thanksgiving offering and go and give it. Thanking God for that thing that you are solidly believing. Because the thing about Thanksgiving, what Thanksgiving does is like an affirmation. Thanksgiving is like an affirmation of that thing that I believe it will surely, in fact, it has come to pass. It is existing already. It's just not yet in my reality. So I'm giving thanks because I know it already exists. So now, and it will become my reality very soon. I just need to keep at it. So give thanks. Give thanks. Don't bother begging and asking for it anymore. Just give thanks about it. Give thanks to God. Every day you wake up, thank God. Thank God for life. Thank God for the air. Thank God that the universe is working together for your good. Thank God that all of nature is working for your good. Thank God that men and women are conspiring to favor you. Thank God that you have a beautiful life. Thank God that you have health in your body. Thank God that you have a sound mind. Thank God that you have... Just keep thanking God, because the truth of the matter is all of these things have already been put in place. So start thanking Him. And let me tell you something about Thanksgiving. Just think about it. When you do something for someone and they come to thank you specially for that thing that you did, how do you feel? Ask yourself that question. How does it make you feel? As opposed to when you do something for someone and they don't even say thank you. They don't come to acknowledge that you've done that thing. How does it make you feel? Now imagine how you feel when someone comes to say, oh, thank you. You feel so beautiful about yourself. That's exactly how God feels when we come to Him and say, oh, thank you, Father. Thank you for what you've done for me. Thank you for holding me by the hand and leading me on this journey that you have set me on. Thank you for loving me with a love that can never be broken. Thank you for guiding me. Thank you for helping me. Thank you for giving me your Holy Spirit. Thank you for giving me your word. Imagine God is just there like, that's my girl. That's my girl. Angel Michael, Angel Gabriel, what can we do for Winifred? What more can we do for her? I promise you, that's definitely how it works. At least that's how I imagine it to work. And it's been working for me a whole lot of times. And my final words to you today, I've written them down here. I said, most importantly, hold on tightly to your belief. Keep affirming what you believe with your mouth. You have to say it. You cannot not say it. You have to open your mouth and keep affirming the things that you believe. Don't allow any natural circumstance interfere with this process, regardless of the condition that you are in. Remember that everything in the natural realm was created by somebody's mind. So you superimpose your mind on the natural and hold on to what you believe in your mind. That's why it's also important that you're mindful of the things that you're believing to be true in your mind, because ultimately that's what will shape or shapen up your life. That's all I have for you for today's episode. I hope that this episode has inspired someone to put this simple principle of creation to good work or to good use, so that their positive affirmations can become powerful and have substance and start producing great and valuable results for them. I'll see you again with another video. Until then, remember to stay very, very elegant. Take care.